Welcome back to No One Asked Us. I'm Craig Choate. That's Logan Lee. Thank you for hopping on once again for episode 13. Okay, we got it right this time.
Lucky number 13.
All you listeners and viewers didn't even notice the mix-up last week because I edited it out. This is episode 13. Like I said, I'm Craig Choate. That's Logan Lee. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media pages. On YouTube, they're on the screen. Follow them for those of you that are listening. My Twitter's at Craig W. Choate. He is at the Logan Lee. Our show Twitter is at No One Asked Us Pod. We're on YouTube. We have a Gmail email account, no one asked us 2021 at gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, anything you would like for us to discuss, shoot them our way, and we will get to them on the show. I think that's all I got for that spiel. Logan, how was your weekend?
Great. Oh, weekend was good.
I think you had a busy one. I think I saw some
yeah, celebrated my nephew's first birthday this weekend. So that was pretty exciting. He definitely destroyed his cake and was enjoying the heck out of it. So that's what it's about. So, but yeah, it was a good time. Got to spend the weekend with the family and spend the weekend with him. And so back at it though. Got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, yesterday and this morning, I was like, it's kind of going to be a light show. And then just as we got on this call, we were going through the rundown and we've got like 15 things on here that we want to talk about. Yeah. It might be less Illini centric today, which is kind of a good thing. We are recording this Monday night at about 5:30 Central Time. One thing I was going to ask you though, is the smash cake still a thing? Like, did they give him his own cake that he could like just destroy? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We all had cupcakes and he had his own cake that he just went into, and I'm sure you saw the picture. It was adorable. Yeah. And he was all about it.
Yeah. What's his name?
Lennox.
Happy birthday, Lennox. Happy first birthday, Lennox.
Gets a shout out. Happy birthday, Lennox. You'll listen to this in 20 years.
In a couple weeks, about a month and a half, Logan texted me last night. We're excited to talk some Big Brother on here.
Oh man. I
hope you all are ready for that.
Had that revelation that you and I actually both watched the show. So, I've been worrying, what are we going to talk about this summer when we don't have Illinois sports? Well, obviously I have baseball and we'll have movies and stuff, but we'll have plenty of stuff to talk about with Big Brother. So if anybody out there actually watches Big Brother that's listening to the show right now, you're in for a treat. I will tell you what.
We'll get to that later, though. Today we got some baseball. We do have some Illini stuff we want to cover. And then NBA, NHL playoffs are coming. And I think Logan's got a movie or TV show or something that he watched that he wants to talk about. But we are going to start with baseball this week. We're going to get away from the Illini for a little bit. We're going to talk baseball. And we talked about it last week. Albert Pujols was DFA'd by the Los Angeles Angels, and he's not going far. He is going to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Actually, the Angels are going to pay all but $420,000 of the $300 million salary for Albert this year. So not a bad deal for the Dodgers. I did say last week that I didn't want him on the Cardinals, but then when I saw the news that he went to the Dodgers, I'm not going to lie, I was like, man, why didn't he come back to St. Louis? So yeah. I was a little upset. I think more so just because he went to the Dodgers. Like, everyone's going to the Dodgers. What'd you think?
Well, I think there's a lot of layers to this, and I've had some time to dissect it. When it was first announced that he was DFA'd, and my initial reaction was he's got to go to the American League. Yep. That's just what makes the most sense to me. Then the announcement came, obviously, that he's going to the Dodgers. So my first reaction to that was, well, he gets to stay in LA. He doesn't have to move. He can finish out his season in the same city that he's probably going to continue to live in once baseball is done. He's going to go to a contender, not only a contender, but I know have some injury issues, but I mean, they're still probably the best team at least in the National League. The Nationals, as I mentioned, are the Dodgers, as I mentioned, are a team that's, have some injury issues, and they could definitely use somebody that can hit left-handed pitching. So, there's a lot of sides to this. If Albert really wanted to go somewhere to play to actually play, it wasn't going to be a contender. So he's basically choosing, I want to go try to win another ring and get some pinch hit at bats, occasionally play first base against a lefty. The Dodgers have always been about flexibility the last few years. With their roster, with the fact that, Max Muncy can play a couple positions. Chris Taylor can play all over the field. When he's healthy, Cody Bellinger's played all over the outfield and at first base. So they've always had the options to move people around. He's just another veteran presence in that clubhouse. They've done it with David Freese. They've done it with Chase Utley. That's what they're going to do with Albert. So, I think it makes sense for everybody. As you mentioned, the Dodgers don't have to pay a lot of money. Really a no lose situation for them. If he continues to struggle, they don't have a use for him. They just cut him. So, I saw your tweet, where your heart is, where your head is type thing with the Cardinals. I understand that. But for his sake, can't really lose. I mean, he's probably not going to play that much, but let's be honest. He has to be honest with himself. Like he wasn't, even if he went to a team that wasn't a contender, at most he's a DH. It is what it is. He obviously just wants to win and stay in LA, so I can't blame him.
Yeah, I think it's a good spot. The Dodgers have some injury history. Bellinger has been hurt, I think, most of this year. Corey Seager just went on the IL. Sorry, still getting used to that. Just went on the IL. So there's a spot to some playing time there, some at bats for him, but he's not going to play that everyday role, which I thought that's why he left the Angels. So, and he doesn't have the DH spot to go into. So, we'll see. It's just the rich get richer. I think if Albert can string something together, and again, I think he's batting under 200 so far this year. So, he hasn't had a great year by any means, and that's why he was DFA'd. But I would have liked to see him stay in the AL because I don't want to October matchup with the Dodgers coming in the NLDS and Albert Pujols trots to the plate and hits a walk-off home run against the Cardinals or something. I'm sure you don't want that against the Cubs either. But I was hoping for the AL, but good for him. I don't think I was ready to see him hang it up just yet. I don't know.
I'm with you. I wasn't ready for that either, but as we talked about last week, his numbers just haven't been, he's been a shell of himself. And quite frankly, he hasn't really amounted to much of anything since he left St. Louis. So, I'd rather see him go out his way, and if he can win another title, good for him. Here's my question for you though. So we've talked about, the whole Pujols farewell tour wasn't going to happen, was going to happen. If he stayed with Anaheim, it is what it is. He was going to bounce around to all these American League ballparks. September 6th through 9th, the Dodgers are in St. Louis. Do you think Albert Pujols is on the Dodgers active roster when September 6th through 9th rolls around?
I say no. I say they'll be healthy by then and they won't have a spot for him and he'll be gone.
If you think he's still there, how warm will that welcome be? If it's two contending teams.
Yeah. I think that's the difference.
In September. I was hoping that matchup might be a little sooner in the season, but when I was looking at the schedule, it's in September. It's early September, but it's in September.
I think what you just said is the difference, because we talked last week about how when he came to St. Louis with the Angels in 2019, he got this big warm welcome and he hit a late inning home run and all the Cardinal fans were cheering for him. But that's because the Angels are notoriously they're not a Cardinal rival for sure because they're in the AL. But when you put him on the Dodgers, a team that the Cardinals have a lot of postseason history with, especially in the last 5-10 years, it would be totally different. So we'll see if he's still there. I think there will be applause and at least a standing ovation, but he got a standing ovation every time he went to the plate with the Angels in that series.
Yeah.
I don't know that that would happen this time around. So
I didn't know.
That's interesting.
Since this likely will be the last go around and, obviously there could still be a playoff matchup, but it's a little different being a playoff matchup than it is being a regular season one. Yeah. So we'll have to see, but that's Albert, and I'm happy for him. I'm glad that he's going to be able to at least attempt to go out his way.
Yeah, I saw
on the whole
the
thing.
Dodgers released the official announcement today, and they tweeted out the Photoshop picture of him in the jersey, and he's going with number 55,
55.
which I
Yeah.
was just like, it just doesn't look right.
Yeah.
So we'll
Yeah.
see.
I agree.
Wish him luck, but not against the Cubs or the Cardinals. Watched an interesting E60 this weekend, as did Logan. Sticking with baseball, Drew Robinson. Some Cardinal fans might remember the name Drew Robinson. He played for the Cardinals in 2019. Didn't play a whole lot. I don't remember how many games exactly he played, but he did make the 25-man roster for a hot second, and he played some games with the big league club. But it's a heavy. I think that's what I tweeted out. It was a heavy E60 done by Jeff Passan. A great job. So the story is the Cardinals released Drew Robinson, and he signed with the Giants in 2020. And then things just with the whole world, things just went downhill quickly with the pandemic and all that stuff. And Robinson wasn't catching on with the big league club per se. He was kind of bouncing around from the bigs to AAA and wasn't sure if he was good enough. And one night came where he had enough, and he shot himself in the head, but he woke up the next morning. It's like I said, the best word I have for it is heavy. He is still alive today to tell his story, and Jeff Passan told his story on ESPN E60. I'm sure, I haven't checked, but I'm sure it's on ESPN Plus streaming somewhere. If you
It
haven't
is.
seen it, you need to go watch it. I think it's an hour long, probably 45 minutes to an hour long. But it was very, very heavy, and something that I think a lot of people can learn from. I think is that the right word? Learn from, or take a lot from
Yeah.
his story. Maybe not
Yeah.
learn, but you can take a lot from his story and kind of get behind his thoughts and just how hard it is for some people out here. Logan, you watched it as well. We were
I
texting about
did.
it the other night and had some pretty good thoughts on it.
Yeah, no, I had watched it. It originally aired a couple weeks ago because it was tied in because Jeff also wrote an article about it. It was a really long piece on ESPN.com about it. And you said it, heavy is the word. I mean, it's an incredible story. Drew Robinson had, as Craig had mentioned, had kind of bounced around the AAA and the major leagues for a few years. 2017 and 2018 had stints with the Texas Rangers, played about 40 to 50 games both of those seasons. And then in 2019 with the Cardinals, I have the stats here pulled up. He only played in 5 games for the Cardinals. And then, yeah, he had landed, I think, with the Giants when all this stuff went down.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just, it kind of, it kind of talks about, the struggles for baseball players, that you hear all the time about how much money players are making, and how living the good life and all this stuff. But what you don't hear about is the struggle to make it up through the minor leagues and to be on that shuttle bus between AAA and the major leagues all the time. And this is kind of off subject, but it kind of goes in, it kind of helps with explaining some of this stuff. But if you are a podcast person and you're a Cubs fan, especially, but the podcast that Ian Happ and a couple minor leaguers, Zach Short and Dakota Mekas, have right now, talks about a lot of, just kind of living that life of a minor league baseball player that's, on your way up, but kind of shuttling back and forth between, AAA and the majors, and the kind of struggle that it can be. And, the story that Jeff told about Drew Robinson is really deep. I mean, it highlights a lot of issues, and in particular with him. But yeah, now he's back playing baseball again. He wanted to play. The Giants invited him to spring training, and he ended up making the AAA roster. And he's been playing. He's been playing with one eye, and it's incredible. He hit a homer the other night. I was going to mention it in our show last week, but we ended up talking about something else, and I got off track. But It's just incredible. It's an incredible story that you can really take a lot from. I really do recommend it. As Craig said, there's a piece you can read on ESPN.com, and there's also the piece that you can watch. It is a little graphic, obviously, for the circumstances for the subject matter, but it's a really good story, and it definitely has a lot to say about minor league baseball, Major League Baseball, that lifestyle. Obviously one person in particular. This is about him. This is not the story of every single minor league baseball player and everybody that's living that life, but it does highlight, the kind of lifestyle that, those kind of guys go through.
Yeah, like you said, it's graphic. The E60 showed the body cam footage of the cops. They actually broke down his door because he called the police and said that he shot himself in the head. And when we were watching it, we were like, why did they break down his door? And they had their guns drawn and all that stuff. And the cops thought it was an ambush. They thought he was going to ambush, or there was a group of people there to ambush the cops, because no one shoots themselves in the head and lives.
And calls the next day. The next day.
The next day.
The next day.
Yeah.
This happened
like 20
that
hours.
night. Yeah. And then, like 20 hours later. So like, who does that? Like, that's just, you don't hear that. So yeah, the cops definitely thought it was some sort of ambush situation.
Yeah. So we don't want to give away too much of it, because like, I think you should go into it kind of unknown to kind of let the whole story play out. But yeah, he lost his right eye. Lost his right eye. So he's playing baseball with one eye right now. And like Logan said, hit a home run early last week for AAA Sacramento. So it'd be awesome for him to make the bigs again, at least for a stint. But yeah, we both of us highly recommend checking it out. Either the article or the E60, or both. But yeah, that's it was heavy, and I'm glad I caught. I didn't see the first 5 minutes or so, but I caught the bulk of it.
Yeah.
So that was good. In other baseball news, kind of baseball combined with basketball, Alex Rodriguez has agreed to buy the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Minnesota Lynx for $1.5 billion. And as Logan pointed out before we started recording, his now star player doesn't even know who he is. Anthony Edwards, the number 1 overall pick by the Timberwolves, did not or does not know who Alex Rodriguez is, who now owns the team.
Yeah.
Great start.
It's a different generation.
I mean, is this weird to you? This is weird to me.
What part of it? That
A-Rod
Alex Rodriguez
is
buying a basketball team?
Yeah, he struck out with the Mets. He tried to buy the Mets.
I mean, he wanted to own a baseball team, and that's just how that stuff happens. I mean, if you're in that situation, oftentimes you want to do one thing, and if things don't work out for you, it's not like it's every day that a Major League Baseball team becomes available. Like, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just kind of how that stuff works out. So, like, I know the guy that owns the South Bend Cubs, the team that I've worked for the last few years. I mean, basically the story there is he wanted to own a Major League Baseball team, but he also wanted to own one in like the Midwest, and there was just nothing available at the time. Nobody was looking to sell their team. So he then bought a minor league team. So like, that's just kind of how that stuff kind of works. I mean, there's only so many Major League Baseball teams, and if none of them are for sale or, that you're available to get, and if you want to own a sports team of some type, you jump on something else. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's kind of weird. I don't know what sort of connection A-Rod has to Minnesota at all. But I mean, good for him. I like the Timberwolves. I think they've been a fun franchise, but they can't seem to get anything going.
Yeah.
Will he help? I don't know, but it's still kind of interesting to think about.
We talked about Albert Pujols earlier. He is starting at first base for the Dodgers tonight.
Of course he is.
So, do you think this is like, not like midlife crisis, but like, Alex Rodriguez just got broken up with by J-Lo. So now J-Lo's going to run around with her ex, Ben Affleck. And so he's like,
I think this was probably in the works. This was probably in the works before that.
Did you cry when they broke up?
I was a little heartbroken.
I was. A lot of people
I just felt like love is dead. between that and the John Mulaney divorce recently, like I just felt like love is
Now
just
he's with
dead.
Olivia Munn.
Olivia Munn. I know that's a whole different story. I don't know if we're here to talk
What?
about pop gossip or not, but that's a whole different thing. But yeah, I mean, I was a little sad. You know what? I think I, like many people, have had a roller coaster relationship with Alex Rodriguez,
Yeah.
the baseball player and
Yeah.
the person. As a kid, you know, when you and I were young, Alex Rodriguez was young, hotshot shortstop playing with the Mariners, playing with Ken Griffey Jr. I like that was like the perfect, you know, 1-2 punch for a baseball team when we were young. And then he goes to the Rangers and becomes a superstar and makes millions of dollars. And then he goes to the Yankees, and then all of a sudden he just becomes the villain. And then the steroids and the, you know, accusations and all that stuff, and he just became a baseball villain. He's likely, I mean, I think he'll get it at some point maybe, but not a Hall of Famer, and all this stuff that happened because of that. And then he's now had this new life as a TV broadcaster. And you can say what you want about him in the booth. I don't love him in the booth on Sunday Night Baseball. I do love him as an analyst. I love him on Fox with Burkhart and Frank Thomas, like and Poppy, like their post when they have the postseason, you know, studio stuff. I love their dynamic there. I love him in that role. And then the whole J-Lo thing, like I was just, I'm in. I'm in for this. Sign me up. And now love is dead, and I don't know what to think.
Yeah, that's kind of the reaction everyone's given. It's I don't know. And then the fact that she's back with Ben Affleck. Whatever. This isn't a pop culture podcast, but I guess it can be one. It can be whatever we want.
It's whatever. It's exactly. It's whatever we want it to be.
Moving on, though, we are going to talk a little Illini here, and we're going to start with the men's basketball opponents have been released. So this is not the schedule. This is just what Big Ten teams Illinois is going to play in the 2021-2022 season. So I'm just going to read them off real quick. These are the home and away. So these are the teams Illinois is going to play twice, both in Champaign and at the other campus: Iowa, Maryland, Michigan, Michigan State, Northwestern, Purdue, and Rutgers. The home-only games are Ohio State, Penn State, and Wisconsin, and the away-only games are Indiana, Minnesota, and Nebraska. And I was telling Logan this, again, before we started recording. It's kind of hard to dissect this because we don't know the roster. We don't know the assistant coaches. We don't know who's going to stay in the NBA draft. We don't know who's coming back. So this is just kind of something to talk about here. So what's your first thought looking at this opponents?
Well, yeah, you said it. I mean, we can't really dissect it too much just because we don't know who's coming back for Illinois. We don't exactly know what all these other rosters are going to look like. It's good to see Northwestern's on there twice. Other than that, not much to take away. Now it is the Big Ten, and the Big Ten had how many tournament teams this year, and so I mean, whatever. It's not like there's very many teams that you're going to walk over anyway.
Yep.
It is what it is. I'm more of a traditionalist. I like to see Indiana twice, but that rivalry is, I don't want to say it's dead, but it's not what it used to be. So it's not really quite as a necessity for me at this point.
I'd like to see Indiana and Wisconsin twice instead of Maryland and Rutgers.
No, I agree. I think that there's definitely more to that. I don't know, not much to say from it. You know, at least it's nice that we have that, something to look forward to. But not much to take away there, especially since we don't really know even what the roster is going to look like.
Yeah, having Iowa twice is good, although they'll be without Garza and Frederick. Not sure about Wieskamp. I know Bohannon's coming back for his 6th year, I think. Michigan twice and Michigan State twice is good. Purdue twice is good. I think Purdue's going to be really good. So that'll be some good competition. But yeah, not a whole lot there. Just thought we'd give it to you since it came out this week and let you guys let that sink in your brain here for another 8 months before the season starts. There was some kind of bad recruiting news. AJ Storr decommitted earlier this week. He was he had committed not too long ago. I think in February or March, he committed to Illinois. He's kind of an under the radar guy from, I think originally from like Rock Island, I think. But he's been out in Las Vegas. He's at Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas. Yeah, he committed to Illinois on April 7th and he decommitted May 13th. So wasn't committed for very long, but kind of expected when you're going through all the changes that Illinois is going through. I'm sure one of the two guys that has officially left was the lead recruiter, and he's not sure who's going to be the assistants on the team. So he wants to make sure that he does the right thing for himself. So as much as it sucks, seeing him decommit is probably the right choice for him. He's going to explode this year. He's going to get a ton of high major offers. He had a great summer from everything. Every tweet that I see about him, whoever the analyst is or the reporter is gushing about this kid. So it sucks. Did you follow any of this or know who he was?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Again, it's not really something to be shocked about when you're going through a coaching change like Illinois is. And we'll talk about it here in a second, but it continues, I think, to hurt that they still don't have that stuff in place. But I don't know that that's necessarily connected to this. But yeah, that's par for the course when you have stuff like this. But as you said, he's definitely gonna take off, and he's gonna get a lot of offers. And who knows? We'll see what happens with him, but not much to be shocked about, I think there.
Yeah, we'll see. He has not what's the word? He's not said he's not going to come to Illinois. Yeah. He just said he's reopening his recruitment, which Illinois is right in there, so they still got a chance. It's just doesn't have that verbal commit to Illinois at the moment. Another guy that Illinois is going after, Tre Mitchell, kind of a stretch for a big man, a post player, transfer from UMass. He is announcing his decision. No, he just released his top 6. He just released his top list. Illinois is in there with LSU, Georgia, Texas, Florida State, and Bryant. One of these things does not belong, but yeah, that's his list. He is, if he's not at the top of Illinois' list, they're doing something wrong, because that kid played really well at UMass last year. There's some stuff going on with his. He was a package deal, is what I read. He's a package deal with someone that Illinois is not interested in, so their chances might be a little less than what people thought. But he would be a great fit. He averaged double digits. I think he might have averaged close to, if not a double at UMass. So
yeah, he's definitely the one to go after at this point.
Yeah,
if they could make that work. That fills the biggest hole that Illinois has right now on the roster, as things stand right now. So he would definitely be the one you want to try to get. But as you said, I don't know if it's going to happen. It's good to at least see Illinois in the mix there, though, even without a full coaching staff.
Yeah, I think
that's kind of my takeaway.
It's probably honestly between Illinois, Georgia, Texas, and Florida State, because LSU just got a commit from a big. A freshman big, so I wouldn't think he would go there when they just got the commit. It just kind of sucks that with the Kofi decision, I feel like is blocking a lot of this to go along with not having 2 assistant coaches. But there's a lot not going Illinois' way right now. But
I would venture to guess that everybody's just kind of working under the assumption that Kofi's not coming back.
I think so too.
I think that's just kind of everybody's idea here. If it happens, great, plug them in, and instantly you have a conference contender. But I don't think there's any sense in trying to at least somewhat anticipate that he's coming back, because I just don't see that benefiting anybody.
Yeah, Mitchell averaged 18.8 points and 7.2 rebounds as a sophomore at UMass, 17.7 points and 7.2 rebounds as a freshman. So 2 really productive years at UMass. He would fill a lot of question marks and holes with this team. But someone else that could is Quincy Gurrier from Syracuse, who also has Illinois in his top list. He's a transfer from Syracuse. His top four are Illinois, Arizona State, Memphis, and Oregon. And he has set his announcement. He is going to announce Thursday at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern, Logan Lee time. Illinois was in deep with him coming out of high school when he chose Syracuse, but so was Oregon. So it's almost like he's kind of going to his backup plans here. He averaged 13.7 and 8.4 for Syracuse this year. Syracuse team that made the Sweet 16?
Yes.
They didn't. Yeah, Sweet 16 for Syracuse. So yeah, another piece. He's a 6'7" kind of wing. I don't know if he plays down low very much, but he's athletic. He's very athletic, which every name that I'm seeing Illinois going after and connected to, it seems like Brad's shifting that way. He wants athletes more so than anything else right now, I think. And I think that goes to show what Baylor can do, because that's what Baylor was, and they just won a national championship.
I think that's just what a lot of the game is trending to anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's just the nature of it. So as opposed to trying to go against it, just roll with it, because that's what a lot of these players are those kind of those kind of athletes.
Yeah. So those are two names to keep your eyes and ears out for in the next. Gurrier is in a couple days. It'll be 2 days once this gets released. It'll be 2 days out that he will commit. So we might talk about him next week. Don't know where Illinois stands as far as with both of those guys. They're in their top lists, but they could be at the bottom of those top lists. We're not really sure, but as long as Illinois is in there, we'll let you know and keep you updated on that. So Tre Mitchell, Quincy Gurrier, really no movement with the assistants.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked last week about how we were releasing our episode on Tuesday last week, and we were like, well, we know what's going to happen. They're going to announce their assistants Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, and we're going to have to wait a week, but there's literally been nothing. You concerned?
Concerned is a strong word, just because I trust they have it figured out, that they know what they're doing, because otherwise they wouldn't be in this situation. But it is a little alarming, I guess, just because it is this far along. Obviously, I think the big hold, there's still at least one spot available. So regardless of what happens with Stephen Gentry, there's still a spot there that they haven't filled yet. So yeah, a little bit. It's just kind of more confusing than anything, especially when it comes to these players and guys that are currently on the roster. I know everybody's kind of saying, yeah, they're going to be there, but they don't know who's going to be coaching them. So, I mean, I think you want to get some of this stuff moving, but who am I to judge? It's May 17th. I thought we'd have this answer figured out last week. Clearly they're not in a hurry. So
yeah, there's some names that have been thrown out that their current employer has kind of been like, all right, we're not going to let you go. We're going to do what we can to keep you. And I think that's slowing things down, but hopefully soon we know who's going to be on the sideline. Really happy with Chester Frazier so far. He's thrown some offers out to some kids who seem to be responding well to Chester at Illinois. So that's a good start, but you need to get a big man coach, and you need to get a top level recruiter, and don't know where it's going to come from, but I think we both trust Brad to find maybe not his top pick, because I think if he had his top pick, he would have had him by now, but someone that fits. So we'll see. Yeah. Maybe next week we'll talk about who that is. One of the Illinois transfers out has released where he's going. Jermaine Hamlin isn't going far. He's going to Eastern Illinois. Honestly, when he announced he was transferring, my first thought was just go to Eastern, because that's about where you belong, Jermaine. So I think it's a good fit. I think it's a good get from Marty Simmons, because I think 6'10" guys in the OVC, and I don't think you can discredit his 2 years at Illinois. I think it made him a better basketball player. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think he's going to do pretty well at Eastern.
No, I think he'll be fine there. I think that's probably the level that, he can see some success at. If
Yeah.
anything, he's, as you mentioned, he's learned from playing against Kofi,
Yeah, exactly.
the last couple of years in practice. So he can definitely take that to the OVC level and see what he can do with it. So
Yeah,
happy for him.
I think those are the kind of offers he was getting out of high school, and then Illinois had a roster spot and they needed some size, so they're like, all right, why don't you, we'll throw an offer out to you, give you a couple of years. So I think it makes total sense for Jermaine.
Yeah, I agree.
Good kid. He was a good fit for Illinois. You always like to have local kids, a couple of them, and I'm sure everyone in Lincoln loved having Jermaine play at Illinois, but they'll still get to see him at Eastern. So good for Marty Simmons, good for Jermaine Hamlin there. Last Illini note from me: how much do you pay attention to their men's golf program?
I see your tweets.
So it is postseason time for Illinois men's golf, and they're doing what Mike Small and company do. They won the Big Ten championship. Was that last week, 2 weeks ago? Not too long ago. They won the Big Ten championship, came back to beat Iowa by 1 stroke to win that. Now they are at the regional in Stillwater, Oklahoma, going up against Oklahoma State at their home course. They were leading. So they played 36 holes today. I think there's some weather issues down there. So they played 36 today instead of 18. And Illinois was leading for a good while, but Oklahoma State, it looks like, they're playing on their home course, and Oklahoma State is coming down number 18, and there's 5 players. They have 2 birdies and 2 eagles on 18 to take the lead over Illinois. Illinois does have 3 birdies on 18, so they're playing well, but Oklahoma State has taken the lead over Illinois. Top 5 teams advance to nationals, so Illinois is in a pretty safe spot. They've got a 17-shot cushion over 5th. I think it's a 3-round tournament, so I think they're going to play 18 more tomorrow. It's been a couple years since I've covered this, so I've lost my touch, but I do know 5 teams advance, and Illinois is 17 shots clear of 6th, so I think they're going to advance to their 13th straight nationals. They're fun to watch, man. I loved covering Mike Small and any Illinois golf tournament that I could cover.
We probably should at least give Oakwood's Jon Davis a shout out though,
because he won Big Ten champ,
the Big Ten championship in the 1500 yesterday. So sticking with the Illini sports.
That kid is a machine, man.
He is.
Oh my God.
Been one since high school.
Yeah, that's incredible. I have all the respect in the world for runners, because the only time I'm running is if something's chasing me. I've never been able to run like just for fun. So props to Jon Davis. He's been killing it since high school, I think.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know how many state championships he won.
A lot.
He was a great soundbite too, because he's like really smart. So his answers, like he thinks about ways to just mess with you, like when you ask the questions. I think it was in high school. We caught him after one of his distance races, and he straight up was like, yeah, I wasn't even trying for the first 3 laps, and he won by like 2 minutes. We're like, thanks for the great soundbite, but wow. It was incredible. That was cool to see. Illinois hosted the Big Ten track and field championships at the new Demersion Park. That thing is such a huge upgrade for both track and field and soccer programs. I mean, Josh Whitman has done really good stuff with the Illinois athletics complexes. Ubben groundbreaking has happened, so there's expansion going on there. But yeah, congrats to Jon Davis continuing his just outstanding athletic career, high school and Illinois. Anything else, Illinois, while we're on it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think
we've got it
finally
covered.
Winding down with college athletics here.
Yeah. While we're talking golf, though, did you see the women's golf tournament? They just canceled.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't read or see
there was
the
a
entire
weather
details.
issue or something. So
yeah,
it was a regional, and they just came out and said, "Yeah, we're done. We're not going to do this."
They said the course was unplayable, so they just advanced the top 5 seeded teams without giving the other teams a chance. And everything I saw from all the teams that were participating, like their coaches were out walking the course, like this is fine. Like there's nothing wrong with this course. We can play this course. And the NCAA is like, nah, we're not going to play. But the cool thing is Barstool is now hosting a tournament to let all those teams that didn't play play another tournament. Now they're not going to get to go to nationals or whatever. So that, I mean, that still sucks, but it's cool that they're and I'm surprised the NCAA is letting that happen. First
I agree.
of all,
that was my thought.
Yeah. But, Barstool Golf, 4Play podcast, and those guys, they're some of my favorite golf coverage. They do a really good job. So I'm glad that they're making that happen.
Did you get any recommendations or any suggestions for your golf question last week, other than mine?
Sorry, Tim.
The Tim Lee tennis golf course is open for you if you'd like to.
I might need a tour.
Head to Oakwood.
I might need a tour.
Head out anytime. Tim would love to have you.
I've got some options. I've done some research and I got some options. So I'll be playing a lot of golf this summer, hopefully.
I'm really happy for you.
Eventually. Thanks.
Golf and T-ball.
Yeah. Not this week.
Being a dog dad. Okay, moving on.
Moving on, yes. NBA playoffs start.
Yeah.
I believe tomorrow.
Correct.
Do you understand this whole play-in? Why are they doing this?
To get more teams into it. I don't know. Everybody's adding more teams to the postseason. Baseball's done it. Football's done it. Obviously, the NBA is just looking for a way to get a couple more teams involved, 4 more teams involved in the postseason. Worked out from a ratings perspective this year because you're going to get Lakers and Warriors in the play-in game. So, I mean, most of those other matchups aren't really ones that people will care about. You have a couple, bigger markets on the East Coast and the Celtics and the Wizards on the Eastern side. But people are going to be watching Lakers, Warriors, Steph from LeBron and Anthony Davis. That's going to work in somebody's favor. I know LeBron's pissed about it. I can't blame him, but I mean, they're also the 7th seed. So like, whatever.
That surprises me. I guess because LeBron's been hurt a lot this year.
Yeah, they've had a lot of injury issues.
So it looks like the 7 and the 8 play each other, and the 9 and the 10 play each other. The 7 and the 7 and the 8 winner automatically gets the 7 seed. So they'll play the 2 seed. The loser of the 7-8 gets the winner of the 9-10, and then the winner of that gets the 8 seed.
Correct.
The 1 seeds. Okay. So
are you excited about the possibility of getting the Lakers or the Warriors? Because I see you are a Suns fan, according to the shirt you're wearing.
So I guess you could say the Suns are my Western Conference team.
Oh, that's great.
I've been to one game and I loved Phoenix, so I bought a shirt and yeah. Suns have surprised this year. They're the 2 seed. Yeah, I was shocked at that. They've got the pieces, but it's just the Suns. They haven't really. They've underachieved since Steve Nash left. So yes, I was surprised.
Don't forget though, they were the team last year that went undefeated in the bubble.
They did, yeah,
and still didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
and so to go from that to the 2 seed, out west. Granted, it's been a down year for the Lakers and the Warriors. Both those teams have had injury issues. So that's 2 teams that you would have expected to be a little higher. But still.
I guess you can't count out any team with Chris Paul. So you got Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, a good 3-and-D guy. So yeah, the Suns, they're a quality team. I would love for them to make a deep run. But yeah, in the West, you've got Memphis and Memphis and San Antonio is the 9-10. Like Logan said, Lakers and Warriors are the 7-8. The East, I guess local team, Pacers are the 9. Facing the Hornets. Sam Smith, happy that the Hornets snuck in that 10
we should have got Sam Dracula on the show.
Should have continued with our SIU alum guest list with Sam Smith. He does host, actually Sam Smith, our college buddy from SIU, hosts a podcast with Muggsy Bogues. covering the Hornets. So that's pretty awesome.
If you are an NBA fan, you should definitely give Sam a follow on YouTube. Sam Dracula is his page, but it's a Hornets fan page, but he's got a lot of good stuff on there. And as you mentioned, he has the show with Muggsy. So
does a really good job.
He's a pretty good follow.
Yeah. 7-8 there is Boston, Washington, like Logan said. So some interesting matchups there. The other seeds, Utah is the 1 seed in the West. I know they're pretty good, but again, kind of surprised that they're the 1. Phoenix is the 2. The 4-5 is the Clippers and Dallas. 3-6 is Denver and Portland. That Portland team is scary. When McCollum and Lillard are on, that team is scary. Denver without Jamal Murray, I'm not sure how far they can go. So Portland might pull the upset there. In the East, Philadelphia is the 1 seed. Trust the process has finally paid off. Brooklyn, the 2. I think it goes through Brooklyn probably if their big 3 are all healthy and playing. Milwaukee, the 3 against Miami, the 6, and the Knicks, New York Knicks, and Coach Tibbs leads the Knicks to the playoffs. They're facing the Hawks, Trae Young and the Hawks. So if I had to guess, I would say Brooklyn and man, I don't know who's going to come out of the West.
I don't either.
Wow.
I really don't.
I really don't either. I mean, I'm not even going to venture a guess. I can't. I have no idea who's going to come out of the West. I want to say the Lakers from the 7 spot.
It's kind of where I'm leaning to.
I mean,
getting past Portland or Phoenix is going to be a challenge, but I mean, if they're healthy, the Lakers. I mean, they're the best team in the West if they're healthy. So
yeah, that's the big question.
I mean, can they stay healthy? I know he's complained a little bit about this season to begin with, but it is what it is, and this is the situation they're in. So,
how much NBA do you watch?
Bits and pieces throughout the year. I usually watch during the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure.
But bits and pieces throughout the season. Just kind of. I mean, I follow it, but I don't watch a ton of it.
Yeah, same. I am in an NBA fantasy league.
Yeah.
And I mean, I won the league, so I'm the NBA fantasy league champion. So I follow it a little bit, but
kudos.
Humble
Congratulations, Craig. No, my brother Cameron's big into the NBA, so he kind of fills me in on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he does in his spare time. So.
Okay.
What a spare time he has, but maybe we'll bring him on to dissect the NBA playoffs.
Should have had him on this week to tell us who's going to win the West, because I have no idea. I'm still looking at this bracket, and
let's just bring him into the FaceTime or to the Zoom right now, and just don't even let him know what's happening. Just send him a text. Quick, Cameron.
You can send him the link. You got him the link. I want to say Portland. Honestly, that's I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, like Logan said, this is kind of the time where I start watching. Like at night, this is what I'll watch. I'll put baseball to the side and I'll watch the NBA playoffs for a good portion here.
Speaking of NBA and my nephew's birthday this weekend, so Cameron, being the big NBA fan that he is, obviously his wife has become more of an NBA fan as well, and she's taken a liking to Luka Doncic.
Oh yeah,
and there's a little resemblance that Lennox kind of resembles Luka a little bit. He kind of has a similar look. So one of their friends was at the birthday party and got him a Luka jersey.
Nice.
Like for a 1-year-old. Like it was best gift of the whole day. It was perfect.
Awesome. Yeah. Luka's fun to watch.
But anyway,
we'll see what happens. We'll keep
congratulations on your fantasy NBA champion.
Thank you.
Greg.
Thank you.
I know that's what you were fishing for, so I'm just really glad that I'm here to provide that for you. I'm sure nobody responded to your tweet about
no
it.
one, no likes, nothing. I'd like to thank
why
Damian.
I'm here.
I'd like to thank Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, James Harden.
Both of them. Wow. Okay.
James Harden traded for him at the deadline.
You and the Nets.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert was a quality player for me this year. Yeah. Anthony Edwards.
Oh,
our A-Rod's friend, Anthony Edwards. Yeah, it was a good year. It's just kind of something to keep me interested and yeah, keep up with the NBA a little bit. Also, starting just a couple nights ago, the Stanley Cup playoffs. I know Logan.
yeah, you're out of my element.
I was gonna say Logan doesn't follow this like at all.
No.
And honestly, as you can see right here, followed a lot a couple years ago. Pandemic kind of threw things into a loop last year, so didn't last year. And then this year for me, the NHL did their whole realignment because of COVID this year, where they put all the Canadian teams in the North Division, and then they split, like they did East, Central, West, and North. Sorry, I hit my mic. East, Central, West, and North. So there was no like Western Conference and Eastern Conference and all that stuff. So potentially potentially the Blackhawks and the Blues could have met in the Stanley Cup final this year had the Blackhawks made it. So like their total realignment.
I honestly had no idea that this was happening. That's how little I pay attention to hockey. So
yeah,
go ahead, carry on.
The Blackhawks were in the Central, and which is on like the right side of the bracket, and the Blues are in the West, which is on the left side of the bracket with the North. So North and West are on one side, and East and Central are on the other. So yeah, the Blues got put in the West with Anaheim, Arizona, Colorado, LA, Minnesota, San Jose, and Vegas. So every single one of their road games, minus Minnesota, started at like 9:00 here. So I've watched less than 25% of Blues games this year. So I'm not as versed. I know that they were very much on the playoff bubble for a long time, and then got hot towards late in the year, and they grabbed the 4 seed in the West Division. So they start tonight, 9:00 start, of course, taking on Colorado. I don't think it's going to be another one of these banner years, but it was fun to see them pick it up late in the year here and make the playoffs. There's a lot of talent on the team, but it's just hasn't quite gelled since the Stanley Cup win and since COVID hit and all that stuff. They've had a COVID pause a couple times last year, but they've been playing better. So who's your Stanley Cup pick, Logan?
Oh, the Blues. I have no idea. I do have a question though.
Okay. I probably don't have an answer if it's hockey
because
related.
You pointed out the Blues banner that's sitting behind you.
Yeah.
Just curious, are you going to have a banner printed that said most wins in Big Ten conference play and hang in your office?
For Illinois?
Yes.
No.
I'm just curious because that would be great. That would be a great addition to your Cardinal pennant and your Blues banner that's behind you. You really should. Maybe I will have it done and I will send it to you just so you can hang it in your office.
So totally unrelated, but that just reminded me. Logan was sent a book by someone. Have you figured out who sent you that book?
It was Cameron. Yes.
Okay.
It was Cameron. So, okay, I'll tell this story. So I had a birthday a few weeks ago and I went home for the week. I went home the weekend before my birthday and got a couple gifts from my parents. And we were sitting out there eating, cake or whatever before we left to come back up here. And Cameron said, "Hey, I didn't get you a gift, so let me know what you want." And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I didn't text him like, "Hey, I want this." Like, that's not a thing I was going to do. So, I left to go to work or something a couple days ago. And I looked on my porch and there's a package from Amazon. And I'm thinking, I don't think I ordered anything. Did Allison order something? And it had my name on it. I'm like, I definitely didn't order anything. So I open it up. I don't have it with me, or else I'd show you. It's Seth Rogen's brand new book. Seth Rogen, the actor, wrote a book called, I believe it's called Yearbook. And it was just released. And I didn't order this book. I have no idea where this book came from. So I'm thinking to myself, did somebody from is this something like my job sent me? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out who sent me this book, Like my birthday was like 3 weeks ago. Well, then a couple days later, I still hadn't figured it out yet. And I was doing a little research. I realized that the book had just come out that day. So then I tweeted out and nobody had said anything. And I texted you about it. You're like, no, I didn't send it. Like, I don't know why
Seth Rogen liked your tweet.
Seth Rogen did like my tweet. That's what got me looking at this, because he was going through and liking all these people because his book had just came out.
Yeah.
So come to find out, it was my brother that got me a birthday gift. Probably ordered it a few days around my birthday, but the book just came out and it just ended up in my house. So thank you to Cameron. I don't know if you're even listening to the show, but I did solve the mystery of the book, the yearbook from Seth Rogen. So very excited to read that. Still reading Joey Brackett's book, Joe Lenardi's book. So after I'm done with that one, that'll be 2 books for me this year, which is big.
Wow.
Last year I read one. I read Colin Jost's book, A Very Punchable Face. And this year will be 2, assuming I get through both of these books. So
remember when you said I remind you of Colin Jost?
You do have a little bit of Colin Jost in you. And that's a compliment. He's a good looking guy, I guess, but you do. There's a little bit.
That's the first time I've ever been compared to a celebrity. Like no one has ever told me I look like anybody or act like anybody.
I pick out mannerisms on people a lot that I just see, like within their face and how they do certain things. There's just certain things about you that you have a little bit of Colin Jost in you. So
get him on the show.
Did you'd probably, I'm sure you didn't see this, but I happened to turn on when we got home last night. I happened to turn on the MTV movie and TV show awards or whatever they had last night.
Yeah.
It wasn't really worth your time. Pretty much everything Marvel won every award, but Scarlett Johansson won the Generation Award or something. So she was doing her speech remotely. So she pre-recorded this whole thing where she was thanking people and talking about her career and everything. And then Colin walks over. They had like a 2-camera setup, and all of a sudden they cut to this other camera. And you can see Colin walk over with a bowl and just a white t-shirt, and he dumps slime on Scarlett's head. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's like, "You got slime, MTV." She's like, "No, that's Nickelodeon." He's like, "Oh." It was just this whole bit. It was really funny. I got a kick out of that. But anyway, that's a Colin
You get a
Jost
kick out of anything Nickelodeon, really.
I do love Nickelodeon. Did you see my profile picture?
I did, but that's not why I'm freaking out. Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yes. Yes. I'm so in. I'm so in. For adults.
For adults.
For adults.
For all of you that are about our age, about the 30-ish years old, Legends of the Hidden Temple is coming back. That was my favorite show as a kid. It's where you like teams of 2, and there's like 8 teams, and then it gets whittled down to 1, and you have to run through what was it called? Olmec's Temple.
I don't remember. Yeah, something like that.
Temple of Olmec or something. And there's like a maze and all that stuff. It's coming back for adults, and
very excited.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Very excited.
So we're getting long here on this episode, and Logan's got a movie he wants to talk about. So
real quickly,
let's talk about Those Who Wish Me Dead.
I do want to kind of get into the habit now that movies are going to start coming out again. But Those Who Wish Me Dead is a movie that just came out this past weekend, released into theaters and simultaneously onto HBO Max. Had the privilege of watching this with my parents and Allison over the weekend. It is a movie directed by Taylor Sheridan, who is big into like modern day Westerns. He did Sicario a few years ago, which was really good. And Hell or High Water, Wind River, a couple movies that I really enjoyed the past couple of years. This one starred Angelina Jolie in the lead role. As I said, it's kind of like a Western action flick where she plays a character who's a smoke jumper out in Montana when they, the forest fires and everything. But there's a couple of assassins that go through this whole thing. It's just a solid movie, like an hour and a half long. Don't expect too much out of it, but I was pretty pleased. My dad was picking it apart. There's a lot of plot holes. I won't deny that. There were some issues with the critics in the room. I wasn't as critical as some of the others, even though, I'm the one that actually gives scores and things to this movie, but no, it's just a solid watch. So if you're venturing out to theaters, or if you have HBO Max, Those Who Wish Me Dead just came out this past weekend. Definitely worth a watch. Don't expect too much out of it, but definitely not Taylor Sheridan's best work. but it's right up his alley, and it's a solid movie. The kid in the movie is also pretty solid as well. So yeah, Those Who Wish Me Dead, worth a watch on HBO Max. I gave it 3 stars. We're gonna start doing that now. That's gonna be our thing, Craig.
Out of 5?
3 out of 5.
Okay, I was hoping it was
3 out of 5.
not
You
10.
can incorporate a graphic somewhere. We can talk to our production team about adding that to the budget somewhere. Like they do on Portnoy's pizza reviews. You can do like a
ding.
a 3-star something. I don't know, whatever.
Okay.
But anyway, that's the movie I watched this week. So lots coming out the next few weeks. A Quiet Place 2 comes out a couple weeks, and Cruella comes out.
For my editing here, are you going straight 3, or is it like 3.1, 3.3?
It is 3.0. It's just 3 stars.
Rookie score.
I have a whole elaborate system, Craig. We're not going to get into this. If you want to know, it's actually like a 6.6, but that's out of 10. I'm just doing 3 out of 5.
Okay.
We're just going to make it easy on you.
Okay. You got it.
Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Does that work for our production team?
Pushing our budget here. Our budget.
Great.
I started. Did you watch Last Chance U?
No. I started like the first season, I think, but I don't think I ever finished it.
So they did. They did 5. 5 football seasons.
Yeah.
The 2 in Mississippi, 2 in Kansas, and then 1 in like Oakland. Mm-hmm. And they did a basketball one now. I started that this morning. I got like 25, 30 minutes in, and I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling it right now. So I stopped, and I started The Crew on Netflix with Kevin James. The NASCAR one.
Okay.
It's kind of funny. It had me more interested in than Last Chance U. It's like a one season thing. I don't think there's very many episodes, but yeah, that's what I started today because I finished. Okay. I guess I didn't talk about this. I finished Survivor. I watched
all 77 seasons of Survivor.
All 40 seasons of Survivor.
Oh, excuse me.
I could go on and on about that because it took about a year exactly because I started that when I started my new job.
I remember.
And I went through 34 seasons in 32 weeks. And then I just stopped until like a month ago where I finished the last 4 or 5 seasons. So if I wouldn't have stopped, I would have finished 40 seasons in like less than 40 weeks. It was insane.
What is your overarching thoughts on the 40 seasons of Survivor?
So I actually kept a list of rankings after each season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why haven't we talked about this?
Because I don't know. I haven't even tweeted it out yet.
Are you going to do this for Big Brother? Because that would be great.
No, I can't. There's way too many episodes. There's like 90 episodes of Big Brother every year.
Yeah.
So where's that? Oh, here we go. I'll give you my top 3 Survivor seasons.
Okay.
Season 13, Cook Islands. Season 7, Pearl Islands, and season 20, Heroes versus Villains, were my top 3 seasons.
Wow. Okay. I haven't seen any Survivor since like season 3, so
yeah.
So I don't really know anything of what you're talking about. But
it was me and my family's like go-to every week when it first came out, like 2000 through 2008, 2009. When I moved out and went to college, I stopped watching, and then just since I moved up to Champaign in like I don't think it was immediately, but like 2016 or 2017, I started watching again. And so I went back and rewatched them all, every single episode.
That's dedication, my friend. I'm really happy for you.
Yeah, it was good. And I might do it again because they're entertaining.
I'm kidding.
Again, I'm kidding.
Good God.
I'm kidding.
Quick. Before we end.
Yeah.
You mentioned the word Oakland real quick. Where do the Oakland A's end up?
Oh, if it's not Vegas
in the short term.
If it's not Vegas or Nashville, I'm going to be upset.
Makes sense. I think Vegas probably makes the most sense.
You think so?
Nashville
will
be cool, though. Nashville will be cool, though.
Vegas is getting everything.
Nashville is going to require some realigning within baseball, which that's not like a ridiculous thing to think about, but that would require some realignment because they're not going to play
in the West. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Anyway,
although the Nashville Predators play in the West, so
that's true.
But you don't know hockey.
I do know that, though. Actually, I don't know if I know that or not. I don't know. I don't know anything.
All right, we can go on and on for that for another episode. But you got anything else for this one? I kind of forgot we're recording a podcast here. Honestly, we just started talking.
That's the beauty of it, Craig. Doesn't matter. We just hit record and start talking. No, I don't have anything else.
All right,
I am good. I've covered everything that I wanted to talk about. The Nationals come to Chicago tonight. The game just started. John Lester's on the mound. Kyle Schwarber's back in Chicago. I'm probably going to tear up a little bit. I'm going to go watch that now. And yeah, go Cubs.
This weekend, Cubs Cards. Sunday Night Baseball.
I'm still trying to get through the emotions of this series first.
We can record our next week's episode during like the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning.
That's not the Sunday night game, is it?
Yeah.
Is it the Sunday night game?
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's do it. I'm in.
All right. For Logan Lee, I'm Craig Show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We will see you next week.
Bye.